Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the You're Entitled to Your Opinion podcast. My name is Gordon Duncan, and this show is part of the larger Capitalize Your Best podcast network of shows. We have four podcasts. Mondays is the This Is Going to Hurt podcast, where we talk about personal growth. Tuesday is Coach Training Partners, where we help coaches create programs, grow their revenues. Wednesday is Capitalize Your Best, which is business and marketing. And then the Friday show, which you're on now, which is just pure fun, gives me an opportunity to do something with that giant list of movies and TV shows and books that I entertain. And I am honored today to have my friend Scott Roche. Now, Scott is not only a longtime friend, seriously, like 90 or 91, but he's also a phenomenal author listen, Echo St. Clair is one of the best character names ever, by the way. I just got to give, if you've not read any of Echo, and this is pre Chat GPT creating of names, please check out Echo St. Clair and anything he's done. But Scott, thank you so much. Welcome to the show, man. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I love uh, being guests on other people's podcasts for a change.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, and Scott just this week had me on his show, and we got to talk about just being creative and those kind of things. I really enjoyed that. Thank you. So happy to return the favor. And you're entitled to your opinion. It is literally that. And so we've had folks on. My good friend Tom. We talked about the top 5 over and underrated horror movies of all time. I've had my friend Brian Drake on, who is an action adventure novelist. The show started originally as a review debate show with my daughter Emma. And so rumor has it one day she will make it back on the show, even though she's literally upstairs. But we started out on This Is Going to Hurt. Then we started our own podcast. I think the last episode we did together was the review of Robert Pattinson's Batman. So I'll let you know it's been a while since she's been on the show. Show took about 2 year hiatus, and then we're back here. But Scott, you just mentioned our topic today for everyone is the top 5 horror movies of all time. And how did you describe how you think of that? What did you just say?
So apparently there's this meme that guys think about Rome like all the
Yes.
time. I think about my favorite horror movies as often as apparently most guys think about Rome.
Well, I did not know. I mean, I knew we're both Stephen King fans, and we've bonded a little bit over horror genre. I didn't know you put that much thought into your favorite movies. Um, but I saw 250 movies last year, and at least 100 of them were horror movies. Now, several of them I saw on repeat over and over again. I had fun putting together my overrated, underrated. But I have never ever put together my top 5 list all time. And I'm confident that if I did this list tomorrow or next week, it would change. So Scott, how, before you tell me anything, how in the world did you go about doing this? Did you do some research? Did you just off the top of your head? Before we start sharing, how did you do this?
Kind of off the top of my head, like I have I have my favorite movies. But this is like not just my favorite horror movies. It's also movies that are impactful, movies that um, are meaningful in the genre. Um, and so I wanted to have some reasoning behind why they're important. Um,
Okay. Okay.
and it's one of those things where um, I could go with my gut, but I wanted to have a little bit more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a little bit of research on, and I wanted to have like uh, a movie that was representative of like one movie per major like subgenre of horror.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I could easily pick like 5 vampire movies or 5 religious horror movies or 5 slasher movies. But I tried to be sort of purposeful about why I picked these movies and what they mean to me. But like you say, like I could make this list again in 2 weeks, and different movies may appear on
I
them.
get it. So, well, when I put mine together, I thought I'd like a little bit of not as much genre, subgenre representation, but I didn't want to just pick, as you mentioned, it's very easy to make them all end in 1987. It's very easy to do that. I wanted to find some things that were relatively recent, but there's a lot of recency bias that I look at them and I go, that's not a great movie. Like, for example, well made. I'm not a huge fan of Sinners, and I know that I get thrown tomatoes
Ooh.
at because he basically just ripped off From Dusk Till Dawn and made it beautiful.
Or arguably
Well
vampire.
shot, beautifully written, beautifully shot, beautifully acted, beautiful in every way. It's From Dusk Till Dawn, and so, but it'll win the awards, but it
You
won't make
could,
my list. So
you could also say that From Dusk Till Dawn ripped off vampires.
certainly, 100% agreed. So let's. So again, but they're all, well, I won't say they're all derivative. There are a few here that are utterly like as close to as a unique piece of horror as you can get. Sinners was beautiful, well acted, better put together From Dusk Till Dawn, but somewhere in there I was like, I'm feeling like, but anyway, I'm not here to dump on that movie. I'll take horror movies of that quality any day.
Yes.
Very much so. It's very, very rare in the year you get that and Weapons. So it's very rare you get moving. I'm a huge fan of Weapons. So,
I haven't seen Weapons yet, so that's definitely
oh,
on my list.
please,
And
if you have HBO, run off and watch it after this. And that'll be the next. I have yet to find someone to do a review show with Weapons with me. So, but what we need to do is hop in. Now, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'll let you go first, and you'll start with five. Have a couple of honorable mentions at the end, if you can think of like these
oh yeah,
really were. There are two here that I'm embarrassed I didn't put on the list, but something's got to go. So Scott, please, you let me get my list here. Scott, you go with your five first. What you got? What's
okay.
number five?
In no particular order.
Oh, you got okay. Your number
Because,
one has to be number one. If you want to do that, that's fine. You've
uh,
got to declare the greatest horror movie of all time because that's what we do. But go
right.
ahead. What do you got first?
Um, well, I'll start from the bottom. So in some particular order, um, I'll go with The Howling.
The Howling.
The Howling.
Fantastic, fantastic. Tell me why. Fantastic movie.
So this came out in 1981,
Mm-hmm.
the same year as The American Werewolf in London and Wolfen, which like making me pick between those three um, was difficult for sure. Um, but I watched The Howling recently, like
Uh-huh.
in the last 6 months, because I wanted to go back to it. I wanted to see if it was as good as I remember, because I watched it. Gosh knows, probably when I was a kid. It was on HBO or Cinemax. Obviously, I was way too young to watch it in the theater when it
Right,
came.
right. Yeah.
But I was also way too young to watch it on HBO and Cinemax when it hit cable, uh,
Yes.
and I watched it anyway. But Wolfen is not really a werewolf movie, and American Werewolf in London is good, but arguably, if The Howling hadn't been made and been successful, we would not have Gremlins,
Agreed. Agreed.
because Joe Dante directed The Howling, and because it was successful, he had the cachet to make Gremlins. And The Howling had amazing practical effects. The shifting scenes were just phenomenal, and I really liked its exploration of the dark side of humanity, of cult behavior, of um, of the werewolf genre in
Yeah. Yeah.
particular. That last scene where the main character is transforming on television, on live television, and people are like not believing what they're seeing, so they just change the channel. Um, my only gripe about that is they made her look a little bit like a Pomeranian. Uh,
Right, right.
um, but still, like that really is, in my opinion, if it weren't for Joe Dante, and if it weren't for his directorial style, and if it weren't for the fact that this movie was responsible for Gremlins, I'd probably give it to American Werewolf in London,
Okay.
uh, because that is also one of my favorite werewolf movies. Um,
Well, I'd have to say I saw The Howling when I was 13 or 14, like soon after it came out. Same thing as you. I should not be watching it, but then again, I also saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre around that time as well. Um, I remember I have not seen it since then, but I remember very much being affected 40 years ago when I watched it. And in the vampire genre, I don't think enough people mention it. Everyone wants to go American Werewolf in London, but I also saw that around that same time. And I do have to say, I remember Howling being the superior of the two, if you ask me. So,
it holds up remarkably well. Um,
yeah.
the one thing is, there's a lot of bush in this movie. Um, I can fit
Well,
one.
it was the early 80s. So, yeah.
Uh, but no, like the what is interesting is, so like in the very first scene, she's meeting this guy who's supposed to be a serial killer, and they meet in this adult bookstore, and he takes her into one of these booths where you watch the dirty movie, and he makes her watch this movie, and the camera doesn't pull away from her watching this movie, and it's watching the movie with her, and it's just like, it's not lurid, it's not like, it's not a turn on, it's dirty and dark and
Grimy. Yeah.
horrific, um and it's just powerful, and the whole movie is about just that kind of animalistic behavior and how these people are giving themselves over to that dark side of humanity. Um, and it's really great exploration of that part of our nature.
Love it. I love it. So, all right. Well, I will go next, and I'm going to go with relatively recent. It's in the last 30 years, though it feels not that old. Um, and it's definitely a pop cultural touchstone, but I'll tell you why. And I'm going to go with Scream,
Mm.
uh, because I think it revitalized the genre. We got away from just the repetitive sequel after sequel of Freddy, Jason, like with just Michael Myers. Like it made fun of itself. The plot was fantastic. I never get tired of seeing it. It is truly in my daughter Emma's top 5 of all time. The recent sequels, it's fine, but I will watch them. But even more so, it spawned. We go from there to Final Destination, to I Know What You Did Last Summer, which I think is direct. But no matter what, all of a sudden the horror movie industry was inspired, and I think it gave life. It's not grimy, it's not gritty, it's got good kills, but it's just a fun movie to go back to and watch to this day, even though we know what's going on. And just Drew Barrymore is just the cutest thing in the beginning, and like it's just fantastic. So yeah.
And the thing that I love about that movie is that was a gutsy move to hire
Yes.
Barrymore
Yeah.
and to kill her off in the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the movie.
Pre-internet, you could still go in that unspoiled, and people would just say you've got to go see Scream, and you're gonna walk away like, what? I mean, like, it's, yeah, agreed. I mean, she was marketed in the movie, and then like for example, in the movie The Hunt, which I think is vastly underrated, and it died a 2021 COVID death. Have you seen that?
Oh,
uh
yes. Oh,
Oh yeah,
yes.
so everyone here, you know my affection for this movie. Emma Roberts dies in the first 5-10 minutes of the movie. Typically, would be someone that you would market. That is a kickback to, like, we're going to bring in a star, and then we're gonna kill them early on. But Scream is just fun. It's self-referential. It knows what it's doing. It's this close to fourth wall. It's a good plot, like it really is. And you don't get, what are we getting ready to get here? 7 or 8? I mean, there is longevity, and in those, there's some good movies in
Yes.
that franchise. There really are. And I will, if you make it, I'm going to watch it. I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep watching them. And but Scream, I'm going to have to give for my number 5, because I mean it's a horror movie touchstone and could have been awful. And it even spawned Scary Movie, which I'm not a fan of, but it even spawned its own mock movie of itself, which was, anyway. So I love Scream, big fan of Scream.
And it rides that line between straight and satire very, very finely. And that's what I love about it. Even the second one is so good. Eventually
Mm-hmm.
it falls off, but I'm like you. I'll keep watching them if they keep making that and Final Destination. I'll keep watching Final Destination movies.
I it's not going to show up on my my list right now, but this past year's Final Destination Bloodlines, phenomenal. I mean, like I don't know if you saw the most recent Final Destination, but I was a big fan of it.
Yes.
There's some bad ones in that genre. Do not get me wrong, but yeah, I'm a big fan of that franchise as well.
So
Next to you,
picking number 4 is tough. But I'll go with Hellraiser, 1987.
Hellraiser. Okay.
Clive Barker wrote and directed it. It's based on one of my favorite Clive Barker stories. Not my favorite Clive Barker story, that would be Nightbreed. If you haven't read Nightbreed or watched the movie, highly recommend it. But as far as like religious, demonic themed movies are concerned, this is it for me. Like this spawned an amazing franchise. Doug Bradley as Pinhead is easily my favorite, in my top 10 favorite villains. Period. Not just in the horror genre, but period. The lament configuration is almost a villain in its own right.
Right? Yeah.
I even enjoyed the reboot, which is probably
Okay. Wow. Wow. Really?
a lot like for what it was. You know, I think it was good. I prefer the original. I prefer the original Pinhead, but yeah, like Hellraiser, Clive Barker, the man is a genius, and his horror is so unique. And really, there are imitators, but there's nobody that does it quite like him.
I really I remember liking the writing more than the movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have not returned to Pinhead in a long time. When it came out, vastly gory, well developed, unique character. But as for some reason in my horror renaissance, I just haven't gone back and checked out the original. So I need to. But
It's not
Clive Barker, what's
it's
that?
arguably not even the best Hellraiser movie, but because it started the franchise, I want to give it the spot.
Well done. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go with a very recent film. Prob This movie is utterly terrifying, and I'm going to go with Sinister. Now, I don't know if you've seen Sinister. Ethan Hawke is in it, and he plays a down on your luck true crime author. He has one novel he's famous for. He purposely moves his family to a home, and he finds essentially snuff films.
Mm-hmm.
They have some of the most horrifying graphics in it ever, and there is a sequel. It's like it's. I imagine the premise was, what if someone found a found footage horror movie, and we made a movie about the person who found the found footage horror movie, because that's essentially it. He finds found footage, and I find it a terrifying movie. Like, if someone says I've never seen it, I want to show it to them, but I don't want to return to Sinister on my own. And the sequel holds up fairly well, but there's not many movies I think that can affect us that way, because it's just utterly terrifying. And he's got his own issues. They develop him well as a struggling author. Has hit his prime. He's got a wife who's like, why did we move here, and that kind of thing. And he's spending his evenings in the basement watching the most horrific footage that you can imagine. The sequel, again, I'm not going to say is great, but doesn't drop off too much. We probably won't get another, but I think Sinister is without a doubt a phenomenal horror movie. And if someone wants to be creeped out and terrified, I would tell them to go check out Sinister.
I will definitely watch it. It's I don't know why I missed it. There are a lot of movies that I have. There are a lot of relatively recent movies that I have not seen because I just haven't been to the theaters that much in the last few years, and I didn't get HBO until recently, and so I'm sort of like, and not everything, so much
Oh, yeah,
stuff.
so many on HBO. Yeah,
So I'm kind of making up for some lost time, but that's definitely on my list.
please do. Please, I have not given away a single thing, but it's a struggling author finds snuff footage is what's going to get you there, and it's just well done. Ethan Hawke does. I mean, he's got Black Mask. He's got his own little horror category, and I'm not always a fan of him, to be quite honest with you. I got burned out after the Sunrise Sunset series. I never want to see that ever again. Sinister, I think he does well. So that's my number 4. So, Scott, what do you have for number 3?
I think I'm going to go with The Fly, Cronenberg, 1986.
It was on my choice. Okay, why did you pick The Fly?
So the original Fly, the Vincent Price movie, is one of my favorite old school horror movies. Um, the Cronenberg remake is one of those very few remakes that takes the idea and just overwhelms
Gonzo.
And not just because the special effects are better, but I mean, the acting is phenomenal. Of course, Jeff Goldblum does an amazing job. And for some reason, the actress's name's flown out of my head. I can't think of the name of the actress that plays against him.
It wasn't Gina Davis, I don't
Yes,
think.
Gina Davis. Gina Davis.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Love Gina Davis.
Gina Davis is tremendous. The special effects are amazing, but the story, like the pathos, and just the body horror. I mean, Cronenberg is a master of body horror. So body horror, check. Science fiction horror, check. A remake that just blows the original out of the water, check. I think this is a better remake of an original than John Carpenter's The Thing is a remake of the original.
Well, The Thing and The Fly, within, if I'm not mistaken, 4 or 5 years of each other, just that season of horror that just movies were coming out that just were amazing. And I've got one more in that year time frame. But The Fly is, if people haven't seen, and I struggle with body horror, but The Fly is hands down, no argumentation, just a phenomenal movie. And Jeff Goldblum, before he was the weight of Jeff Goldblum, there's just a good actor. And I just love Gina Davis. I had a crush on her so badly. It was just, did not make it. So,
and neither one of them have ever done a movie like this again. Really.
No, they did get married after this movie, and then eventually divorced. But they did get married after that movie. Well, I'm going to move on to 3, and I'm going to have to admit that everything from this point on is classic horror. At this point in time, everything is. And 3, I'll tell you why 3. But number 3 is Psycho. Now, I returned to Psycho this year, and this is not a criticism. Psycho is a phenomenal movie. The fact that it was made when it was made Um, it bears a little bit of shock in its age because of its subject content. Because Anthony Perkins is cross-dressing as his mother, and there's like a double impact of that. And you wouldn't get that as much today. They're like, oh, okay. But uh, I debated this back and forth with my friend Tom a little bit. He's like, hands down, this is just a phenomenal movie. Like, skip that. Like, no matter where this movie falls, it's a great movie. And Hitchcock, there's some Hitchcockian things in there I'm not a fan of. Like, there's some camera things that he just loves doing. I think Psycho is just a great movie. But you know what? He did make it in an era where he took something taboo and made it shocking, and you have to get credit for that. And at first I was discounting it. I was like, no, he scared the crap out of us. Like he really did.
Yeah,
He
100%.
played on every fear, and when the reveal happened, it countered an even greater fear that we didn't even know we had. And so I just think the shower scene's done well, the whole dead mother thing, the cross dressing thing, like it. I found myself criticizing it earlier this year, and then I had to take a step back and go, no, good for him. I mean, Hitchcock found the button to push, and he pushed it, and shouldn't be penalized for it. So I'm going to go number 3 all time is Psycho.
I'm afraid for the modern audience, like the young audience, like they're going to approach this movie and they're not going to appreciate it because it's a slow burn, it's a slow build
Mm-hmm.
up to the scary stuff. Because the first third half of the movie is like this woman steals some money and
Yeah,
hides out in this old hotel. And so like Hitchcock takes his time building
very
the
patient director. Yeah,
and that, sadly, I think that's going to be, a problem for a lot of modern viewers. But yeah, it's a classic for a reason. Um,
yeah, and you have to
the
give Perkins credit. He's just creepy. Like even when he's just running the hotel, like you're completely creeped out by. You have great fear for the young woman just by like you should not be around him. Like do not talk to him. So yeah, it's and I've stayed in some creepy hotels in my life. And but yeah, but Psycho number 3. So we're down to the top 2 here, Scott. I know you said no in order, but no matter what, it's order. So what have you got next?
we're getting to the meat of the matter. Um, so there is a reason why. There's actually a bit of a reason why I picked the Cronenberg Fly and not the original Fly, because my top two movies, if I were to consider that ranked in order, are both Vincent Price movies. Um, and so that would have made 3 Vincent Price movies if I had chosen the original Fly. Um, although Price wasn't the main character in the original Fly. Um, the Last Man on Earth,
Oh
19,
wow.
1964. Uh,
Yes.
it's the best version of I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. Probably because he also wrote the screenplay. Uh,
Right.
he wasn't happy with it. Um, Probably because it was a low budget version. Um, I think it's personally, I think it's masterful. Like I have no problem with it. Apparently, Fritz Lang was originally going to direct it. I would love to live in the alternate universe where Fritz Lang directed The Last Man on Earth. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Matheson wanted George Miller to direct it and wanted Harrison
Okay.
Ford to play the main character. I would also like to live in the alternate universe where that happened.
I would
Uh,
watch that. Yes.
but I am perfectly happy with the Vincent Price version that we got because this is um, the most unusual vampire movie
Mm-hmm.
that exists, I think, um, because it's it kind of skirts that line between vampire and zombie movie,
Yep. Yep.
um, and the commentary that it has on society at the very end, that you don't really get from the um, the Will Smith the Will Smith movie, or the oh shoot, uh, the guy, the NRA guy, what's his name?
No, you will not. I can't help you.
Anyway, the act he was in the Planet of the Apes, the main actor. Anyway, he was in a version too, the Omega Man. Um,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you don't get the social commentary that you get in the Vincent Price version. And Richard Matheson was an amazing writer. He wrote a lot of the Twilight Zone episodes. He wrote The Incredible Shrinking Man. He's just like, this is really good writing. The quiet plays a big part in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of directors would not have let that uh, exist. Like, there are a lot of movies that would benefit from just quiet,
Yeah.
letting
Yeah.
that develop tension. Um, and there are a lot of scenes of him like driving around, driving to where he dumps the bodies, and driving to where he's killing these people. Um, I don't know what came first. Um, the Dawn of the Dead, the first zombie movie, or this, but in either case, like, just the people banging on the outside of the house, and how that ramps the tension up. Like, less is more with this movie, and it's a really good example of less is more. Doing a lot with a little bit. And it was filmed in Italy, and apparently uh, Price and the lady that played against him were the only two English-speaking people in the cast, because it was filmed in Italy. And I just think that's fascinating. There's an Italian version of this movie too, like they did with the first version of Dracula with Bela Lugosi. They filmed an Italian version, no, a Spanish version of uh, Dracula, using the same sets and everything else. They just filmed it at the same time that they filmed the original. So, like, they filmed an Italian version of this movie,
Wow.
because they had the sets, they had the actors. They just used, I guess, Italian actors for the main characters. Um, so
Excellent.
I love like the sort of punk rock budget, thinking that went into some of these older movies. Because horror, a lot of times, some of the best horror is so incredibly low budget.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Well, Blair Witch won't make my list, but movies like that, there are movies that are just low budget and they just make an impact. So, well, excellent. Well, my number two is not a low budget. It is a legend. It transcends the horror genre, and I'm going to go with The Exorcist. I saw The Exorcist as a way too young, and at that time swore that I would never see it again. And I held that up for decades. Just traumatized me. We would not have the Conjuring, which I love the Conjuring series. I mean, I will do that all day long. I really would. That's good pop horror movies and that kind of thing. But The Exorcist was just, I mean, Linda Blair, and there's scenes in there that are stuck in my head. Not even the neck turning. There's a scene in there that unfortunately is just stuck in my head. That I mean, it's a well made movie that also dealt with a absolute horror element to it. And they've tried to reboot it. They've tried to do all that stuff. They haven't done anything with it. But the Exorcist is just you can't argue against it being a great movie. And again, it's close to creating a genre as you can get. I'm confident there were possession movies before that, but nothing on the scale of The Exorcist being the big budget popcorn number one movie in the country that everyone has to watch. Of course, based upon a novel. But yeah, The Exorcist could easily be number one. But I don't go back and watch it. I'm good. I don't, I did see it more than once, but there are many horror movies that I'm like, hey, let me cue that up. I'm going to watch it again. Not going to do that with it. It's so good. I don't want to watch it again. So The Exorcist is my number two.
Yeah, that's how I am with there's one movie that I can think of. It's not a horror movie that I am so good with never seeing again, and that's Saving Private Ryan. Like
Great movie. Yeah, it's like Schindler's List. I'm never going to see Schindler's List ever again. Yeah, you're right. Uh, there's some great movies out there that you go, great, not going to see it ever again. Well, here we come down to Scott. Whether you want it or not, this is your last one. This is the today's number one horror movie of all time.
this will always be my number one. And it's probably in my top five movies of all time. And it's The Abominable Dr. Phibes.
Do you have what? The
The
what?
Abominable Dr. Phibes.
Wow, I do not even know this movie.
This is such an amazing movie. 1971, Vincent Price. Um, he is an older actor at this point. It is the highest of camp horror. It is intentionally campy. Um, it is Dr. Phibes is this brilliant surgeon, and his wife is in a terrible accident, and
Okay.
he can't get to her in time. And the doctors that work on her are unable to save her. And so he visits literal biblical justice on,
Yeah.
on these doctors um, by using the biblical plagues as inspiration for knocking them off one by one. And he wears these amazing costumes and he plays the big organ. And there's all of this weird technology. And 100% you can draw a bright line from the Abominable Dr. Phibes to Freddy Krueger because like you've got dark humor, you've got like interesting ways of bumping people off. You've got some of the camp. You've got the gore. You've got the serial killer. Um, you've got the revenge driven plot. Um, like this is it's amazing as long as you go in understanding that everything that is vaguely silly about it is vaguely silly on purpose.
Okay.
um, yeah, it's
Well,
just it's just amazing. And apparently,
I'm impressed. I've never heard of it. I've gone ahead and looked it up. I've got it queued up here.
and there's a
Um,
sequel which is just as good.
all
um
right. Wow.
so yeah, like
Never ever heard of this movie.
um
I'm very excited. Dr.
apparently,
Five Rises Again came out in 72.
yep,
And okay, and they even proposed the bride of Dr. Fibes, but it didn't happen.
which is sad, but hey, like I said, Price was getting up there in years. Apparently he was said to have spent a lot of time entertaining and cooking for the cast and crew. um, Vincent Price was just an amazing person, and he's the epitome of like when you think of like horror icons, of whether they're writers or actors or what have you. Like usually they're just sweet people who do these absolutely atrocious things on screen or on the page. And he was just a sweet man. Um,
All right.
I would have
Well,
loved, I would have loved to have been on that set for a couple of days, just listening to him tell stories. Um,
I really thought that we would probably, I mean, like amazingly here, we have no repeats. We have 10 movies. You definitely had some more lesser known than I had gone. I think every one of mine's no one's wondering what mine are, maybe except for Sinister. But my number one is I can watch it all the time. Takes great liberty with the resource material, with the source material, but I do not grow tired of The Shining. I love The Shining. I love the conspiracy theories around The Shining. I love Kubrick was just on his game. I love that Stephen King hates The Shining. Uh, uh, there's a whole documentary on conspiracy theories around it. I did that deep dive, and is it based upon the lunar landing being false? And everything's in there, but it's just a great horror movie. It holds up. I never get tired of it. I love Doctor Sleep. I got no problem with Doctor Sleep.
Dark Sleep was
The
cool.
sequel, people do not give that any. They need to go watch that. I think it's well done.
Yes.
But Cooper was a genius. The long shots are not boring. It's beautiful. I just can't. I can't find a fault in the movie, really, in any way. And if
Back
you
when he made his own.
study it, you don't grow tired of studying it. Like, you just don't. There's so much in that about how it was made and the fashion. I mean, I love it. I love the whole thing. And so The Shining is my number one horror movie. I just can't put anything else there.
And all those little background details, like it really rewards repeat viewing because there's so many little
Mm-hmm.
details in the
Mm-hmm.
background. Jack Nicholson's amazing. Shelley Duvall is amazing. The little kid, like he
Yeah.
does a great job. He's not an annoying kid actor. I don't know, he may have been on set. I don't know, but like he does a solid job. Scatman Carruthers in a horror
I mean,
movie.
I mean, like, for example, Jack Nicholson wears the same outfit the whole movie once they're there. Wears a jacket and jeans the whole movie. Shelley Duvall's got this cute little fashion, and she decides that every day she's going to dress. I love that she's got all this character that, and literally they gave her like this real fashion sense that's not in the novel, and the novel's phenomenal. Just no arguments with that ever. But just that, I mean, like, she has character. She was tortured in the filming. I
Mhm.
mean, just Kubrick treated her terribly.
He's an awful
uh,
person to
it
think
it's
with.
been the ending of, I mean, Stranger Things owes everything to it and The Shining, and I mean, and they don't even hesitate to give homage to those kind of things. But The Shining is just a great movie, and to reduce it to, well, I don't like horror. Like, you need to watch The Shining. There's way more going on here than, people getting hit in the gut with an axe, and they do. It is unflinching. Um, but yeah, The Shining. I couldn't find a better answer. So for that,
No,
so
it is a great number one. It's a great choice. There's so much to love about it. Um, so much tension. Um,
mhm.
so well crafted. Kubrick is a master, and all the acting in it is fabulous. Yeah, no
Well,
notes.
Well, real quick, I want to wind us down here. I'm gonna give you three real quick um, movies that I considered. Honorable mentions maybe, but like movies I just really want. I just they pass through my brain. If you've got a couple, real quick, you want to tell me? But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, which I saw way too young, scarred me. It's dirty, grimy, not a great movie. Like, it's not a great narrative, but like for a horror movie, well, I mean, just, you can't argue with that. I think the original Halloween, it has got tons of issues, but is a great movie. And if you want to consider a newer movie, um, I think Creep is so well made. I will not stop talking about Creep. And if you've not seen Creep,
Creep.
Creep is the premise. Please go see it. You can find it. The premise is a man is dying of cancer, and he's got an unborn son, and he's going to die before the son is born. So he hires a guy to come film him for 24 hours, and he just wants to do a few things with his son and say things to the camera. So it's got a found footage element to it, but that is the premise, and it's called Creep. That's all I will tell you. But it's and there's a sequel and a series that spawned so much, but Creep is just so well made, and it is a recent horror movie that I think over the years will gain more and more credibility. But that's the premise. The guy's dying and he's like, I want to leave something for my son, and he hires someone to come film him. Great premise, by the way. Great setup for things to happen. But those would be three: Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, and Creep. Unrelenting, good movies. So, Scott, how about you?
So just to show people that I am not stuck in the 70s and 80s, some recent movies that I think are great honorable mentions, and I think with time may push some of these movies down my list. The Babysitter,
Mm.
which
Such a great movie. I love it.
like
Yeah.
a love letter to like so many of my favorite movies. Sting, which I don't hear anybody talking about, um, is
Yeah.
a giant spider movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's more complicated than that, obviously, but
Yes.
like such a good movie. Lots of great tension, some good like funny moments. The thing about the babysitter, yeah, I love a blend of, as I think is obvious from my list, not all of the parts of it, but like definitely significant parts of it. I love a blend of comedy and horror. I
I
think
think it goes really well together. It does.
peanut butter and chocolate. So the babysitter's got some great comedy in it. Sting has got some great comedy in it, and of course Shaun of the Dead. Um,
Phenomenal.
top
Just
tier.
yeah, just a great movie. Really is.
Ed Wright can do no wrong.
I will throw just one other thing. If people have not seen Train from Busan, please go see Train from
Oh
Busan.
yes. Oh my
Just
God.
we didn't even talk about Korean horror
No,
films, Korean zombie films, but Train from Busan is unmatched in its unrelenting nature. But we could do this all day. We could be, what about this? What about that? So that's the next one. So Scott, I have a question. I did not prep you for this on purpose, and this is a question I ask all my guests. Only on you're entitled to your opinion, but presently, what are you liking and what are you loathing? And it can be anything. It could be what you had for breakfast today. As long as we exclude the two topics I asked you to exclude of today, presently, what are you liking and loathing at the present moment? And I've got mine ready to go. So,
okay,
what
what
are
am
you
I
liking and
liking?
loathing?
I'm liking Untamed.
Okay.
Um, my wife and I just finished it. It's a 8 episode series on Netflix. It's not horror. It's police procedural. My wife and I watch a lot of like mysteries, police
Okay.
procedural,
Okay.
and it's really good. Eric Bana's in it, um, and he plays like a special investigator for the Park Service, and it's just a really great story. And
Awesome. I've heard of it, but great.
Eric
Awesome.
Bana is really pretty to look at, and there's a lot of great scenery, and the mystery elements are really good, and the ending's a little sloppy, but I can
Okay.
forgive it for everything else that's great. What am I loathing? I don't loathe easily, and I tend to like if I don't like something, I tend to like forget about it pretty quickly. Um, so I guess what I loathe, remakes, anything by Rob Zombie, basically.
Okay. Yes.
Like
All right.
he
Fair.
needs to
Fair.
stick to music, and he needs to stop casting his wife in things, if he does make a movie. I absolutely loathe what he did with the Munsters. Um,
You know, I didn't even. I. You know what? I couldn't even do it. You're right. Couldn't even do it. And I think what he did with was it Halloween? Did he reboot Halloween? But he did one of the major franchises. I forget, and it was not worth watching. Well, mine is. Um, I am an unabashed fan of every new year. I love the new year. I love like you give me a new year. I am an already generally optimistic person, and the new year will peak me out in a minute. So I'm loving the new year, loving the new energy and the momentum that comes with it. I am loathing, and this is just today. I loathe the genre of television that is uh, rich people arguing all the time. This would be any Housewives show,
Yes.
anything in that. And I'm hesitant to just call it Housewives because it's not just
No.
women based, but if you get a bunch and it's set up like we're going to make a bunch of people go out to eat and then they're going to argue, and there are people in my household who love these shows, and I walk through the room and I cannot stand them. Like it finds something in me that I don't like how much I dislike them.
This reminds me of something that I want to, and it's pertinent to our earlier horror conversation. There's a movie that I want to watch, and it's about a bunch of tech bros who go to this mountaintop retreat and sort of
Yes.
watch the end of the world come to pass. And for some reason, that just reminded me of this. And I want to,
I've heard of that movie, with the series, whatever it was. Yeah.
yeah, I
It's
want
on HBO.
to, like, because the idea of watching like tech bros at each other's throats kind of appeals.
Well,
Yeah,
I just,
reality
yeah,
TV in general, yeah. Mm.
it bothers me how popular they are. I just don't, it breeds nothing good. And I'd rather watch, well, again, I love giant shark movies. I'd rather watch the most low budget garbage Bayou shark movie on repeat than do that. And you know what? That's unfair because I would probably watch that anyway. I have yet to. I've not done a giant shark episode yet, but it is coming. So, well, Scott, I'm gonna exit it here real quick. How can people find you?
You can, the best way is just to go to my website, scottroche.com. That's SCOTTROCHE.com. From there, you can find links to all my social media, my YouTube channel, my books, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you pointed me away. I do want everyone to pursue Scott's Amazon page, his short stories, his novels. That was my original topic, and you're like, yes, talk something fun, and then we did horror movies. So I'm glad you pointed me in that direction. Thank you again for having me on my show, on your show as well.
Oh, yes.
And friends, if you are just finding this podcast, we have a Facebook group called You're Entitled to Your Opinion. And it's as simple as typically I'm watching this. What are you guys watching? And then it usually incites a lot of fun conversation. But Scott, thanks so much, man. We will talk to you soon, and I'm sure we'll be on each other's show again soon. Okay, man?
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Sounds
dude.
good.